For a great cup of joe, there's one thing you should know. Your morning brew can also be playful. Buff Boy Brewing guys make the temperature rise, and you surely feel naughty when you swallow our coffee. If you want some real heat, give your mouth a fine treat. You will want some more, rest assured. Buff Boy Brewing, you can't get enough of.
It's time for The Scribble, your weekly fix of celebrity chats, bizarre stories in the news, and basic random chatter with best-selling author and syndicated radio host Jeremy Bradley. Make sure your seat is in the upright and locked position and your barf bag is securely in place. Here's Jeremy Bradley.
Thank you very much, Larson. Jeremy Bradley here. This is The Scribble. Thank you so much for tuning in at thescribbleshow.com and on your favorite podcast app. Or maybe they're not even your favorite, they're just the one that you understand how to use, and somehow you type stuff in and it downloads to your phone. I don't know, I've never, quite honestly, here's my full disclosure, I've never downloaded a podcast in my life. I'm still old school radio, everybody, and this podcast is just for me trying to be hip and young again, all right? There we go. Coming up on the show today, food coincidences. You don't even need to know what it means. I have some weird stories about what's happened in our house over the last couple of weeks or so. Do you believe in fate? Do you believe in coincidences? Do you believe it's, it's destiny? Is it written in the stars? Does everything happen for a reason? Is it all mapped out? You see where I'm going with this, right? But when it comes to meals, I don't know if it's lockdown brain. You know, I've got quarantine mush head. I'm not quite sure what to call it, but anyway, it's just this quarantine when you're isolated and when you have a lot of time to think about things or maybe overthink things. So I have a story about food coincidences coming up, and legendary rocker Kim Mitchell will be joining us. He's got his first new album out in 13 years. 13 years for Kim Mitchell, and I did some digging. I'm going to find out how long ago it's been since he was on the radio with me. I think it was even before we started doing the podcast. He's been on the Top 40 syndicated radio show, so I'm going to get that date given to me at some point during the show. And, summer is in full swing. Depending on where you live, that could mean that those bloody mosquitoes are out. And some years where I'm from, in Winnipeg, in Canada, some years it can be no mosquitoes whatsoever, and you can enjoy every night in the backyard, not worried about it. Then there's other years where you just want to stay inside, even though the weather is great. Well, the mosquitoes are back, and they tend to, I think they have a foot fetish. I think they have a thing for my tootsies. I'll tell you about that coming up in just a little bit. So it's going to be a jam-packed show. We're going to talk about feet, Kim Mitchell, and food. What else could you ask for right here on The Scribble?
Who are the Kardashians feuding with now? What did that little thug Justin Bieber do this time? Who's getting hitched? And who's headed for Splitsville? Hear the latest celebrity news and gossip every day on Entertainment Wrap-Up. The good, the bad, the ugly, but mostly the ridiculously hilarious. It's all recapped in this daily segment at entertainmentwrapup.com. Have a laugh at the expense of the rich and famous when they take themselves way too seriously. It's 3 minutes of time-wasting fun at entertainmentwrapup.com. Check out Entertainment Wrap-Up at entertainmentwrapup.com. Brought to you by Speak Free Books.
Jeremy Bradley here, back on The Scribble. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Okay, I have talked a lot about food and the internal clock during this whole shutdown thing. And as the months go on, what are we, 4 months into it, 5 months into it? I've already told you how I don't have an appetite, right? We talked about that, was it last week, 2 weeks ago? I don't have much of an appetite for food, but I know intellectually that I have to eat. There was one day where it was like 10 o'clock at night, and I said, I haven't even eaten anything today. I'm not really hungry, but I know personally that I'll toss and turn. I won't be able to sleep unless I've got like some kind of food or something in my system. So then I would, I'd have some crackers or, cut it. I was gonna say I'd cut the cheese, and then have a bit of food in my stomach before going to bed. Now, here's the deal. There have been nights where, I've got a Brazilian fitness model husband who, his eating, his workout schedule, that is all like to the minute. Nothing really has changed in that regard. where we will sit there, we'll be watching TV or something, and we'll have a debate, a discussion. Well, it turns into a debate about what to eat, what to order. We're ordering a lot of food. And when I say ordering a lot of food, I don't mean that we're ordering like 3 meals a day. I would say that we're maybe ordering like 3 times a week, which is a little bit much because it's not always necessarily the healthiest choices when we do it. So we can't decide. We don't want to order from 2 different places because we'd rather eat together, right? Because one place is going to take 15 minutes. Your Subway order is going to take 15 minutes, and then your pizza order is going to take 45, right? So the point is to eat together. And we'll have a discussion, and we'll go through the app, we'll scroll through, and we'll see, like, oh, no, there's Dairy Queen. They've got salads and things, and maybe we can get some ice cream and what have you. No, I don't really feel like that. And then 20 minutes later on TV, there's an episode of Mom. Shout out to Allison Janney. Hi, Mom. I'll email you later. And they go to Dairy Queen. And then we'll look at each other and go, holy crap, that is like fate. It's destiny. No, destiny is a stripper. But, okay, that's a sign. And then we'll order Dairy Queen. Like, it's so ridiculous that television is now dictating what we eat. And then last weekend, this is absolutely true, we were sitting there discussing making tacos or ordering tacos. We had the stuff to make the tacos because we'd had that delivered, a couple days earlier from Walmart. And then I was just like, but I don't feel like, going to the stove, cooking, doing all this other stuff. Let's just order and let's just have it. Well, no, I don't even feel like eating. Oh, I'm not kidding you. There was a Will and Grace marathon on one of the Canadian channels that we have. And sure enough, Karen and Grace, this was an old episode like season 1 or 2, go to a Taco Time restaurant. We look at each other again and we're just like, holy crap, that is so bizarre. So sitcoms are dictating what we eat in our house now. It's come to this, everybody. It's come to this. But am I reading too much into that, or is it just really odd timing? Now, I don't believe in, I just think that it's a coincidence. I don't think that there's anything that's written in the stars and, where it's a sign from a higher power or whatever. I don't look at things like that. But it's just weird that like twice it's happened with what we've been talking about when it comes to food. So send me an email, live. That's the email address, right? live@jbonair.com. live@jbonair.com. But yeah, the internal clock is so messed up nowadays where, it's midnight and I'm still wide awake. And the body's even saying, like, we're going to sleep again? It's bedtime already? Like, we just woke up. We've barely done anything. I don't need the rest. Let's just go. So, yeah, I don't know. live@jbonair.com. There we have it. Oh, speaking of food ordering, we ordered from 7-Eleven the other day. I didn't realize that 7-Eleven has pizza, and I knew about chicken, drumstick. Like, I knew about chicken and potato wedges because they had that when I was even in high school. That was just new there. But I didn't realize that they've got pizza and all this stuff now. So, despite our better judgment, we ordered a large pizza from 7-Eleven. I never thought I'd ever say that. It was okay-ish. So there we go. You're welcome, 7-Eleven, for that brief endorsement about your food products. All right, let's... what are we doing now? Are we going to take a break? We'll take a break. We'll be right back with more.
Isn't it crazy that you wait for payday, but before you know it, you're strapped for cash again? It's time to stop blowing your money and become a smart spender with the book, The Official Guide to Being an American Cheapskate at cheapskatebook.com. Learn simple ways to cut costs at home every day and during special times of the year. Don't go broke at Christmas. Don't remortgage the house for a fancy vacation. The book is filled with tips to save you money throughout the year. Check out the best-selling book, The Official Guide to Being an American Cheapskate at cheapskatebook.com or on Amazon and iTunes.
Legendary rocker Kim Mitchell is back with a new album, and I have to say it's about damn time. Kim, here to talk about the big fantasize. It's Kim Mitchell. Hey there.
Hi, Jeremy. How are you today?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
We're in the middle of a pandemic, but other than that, we're doing what we can, right?
Well, I've got to ask you, I know you just had a birthday, so how was your pandemic birthday? How did you celebrate?
I decided to cancel it till next year, so.
Okay. All right.
I've been suggesting friends do that, too. It's like some friends are like, hey, I'm turning 5-0 this or I'm turning this. I'm like, dude, cancel it.
Yeah.
Hold on till next year.
Absolutely. Well, exactly. This year has not counted. It has not existed. You're turning 50 next year. That's a good way to stay young, right?
That's right. I've been 39 for decades.
Okay, well, speaking of years, though, it's been 13 years since your last album, right?
Yep. The last album was called Ain't Life Amazing. That was 2007. And this album may not have been recorded. I was writing stuff over the course of 13 years. And if it wasn't for Greg Wells, who lives in the town of Los Angeles, I think that's where you are. He's a friend of mine and visited me here in Canada, Toronto, Canada, and I gave him the USB key of shame with all these songs on it. And he called me and said, "Man, we have to record this. Please come to Los Angeles to my studio in Culver City, and let's record this stuff." So with a little bit of hesitation because it's a big undertaking, I went, "Yeah, sure, man, let's do it." I couldn't be happier. I mean, it was awesome working with him.
Tell me about the writing process of this. Like, how do you know when it's time to put out an album? You know, it's, obviously you feel pressure from fans. You know, they want new music, they want, new material from you. But obviously, as a creative person, as an artist, you're kind of like, it's just has to feel right. Am I correct on that, or explain it to me?
Well, pretty much. I think it works all different ways, Jeremy. I think there are bands that have all kinds of pressures, and they give into those pressures. I've never been that guy. You can't hurry creativity. When a song happens, it happens. When it's finished, it's finished. And then when you want to record it, such is the way the business is now. I think it's just more or less just record if you want, and painters have to paint, dancers have to dance, musicians have to write and compose, and if they have the availability to record it, they're going to record it. So I did, and I had the opportunity to do that. So I thought, okay, now's the time, because I'm hooked up with an amazing producer, a Grammy Award-winning producer, and I thought, why not? Let's just go for this.
When it comes to writing, there's an interesting story that you have about Wishes, the new single. It's sort of, you say it fell into your lap, quite literally.
Literally, it did fall into my lap. I'm always you know how musicians are going, well, I came up with this part and I came up with that part. I'm a believer that the song finds me. I've always felt that. I always felt like I'm the song's roadie. And 10 years ago in a waiting room, just by chance, I picked up a book of poetry, which I would never do, as you usually pick up outdated Reader's Digest.
Right.
That's usually what happens in a waiting room. And I picked it up, and it was the poem Wishes. Was the first poem I read. It wasn't page one. It was somewhere in the middle, and the poem knocked me out. The lyric, the message, I just loved what it was saying by A.C. Child. And I thought, I want to write a song to this. So I started writing. I got the book to my house. Amazon wasn't around then. I'm not sure how it got to my house, but wrote the verses part, but realized quickly, Jeremy, that even though it's a complete poem, it's not. Now it's in a song. It's missing pieces. It doesn't have a chorus. It doesn't have a refrain. It doesn't have a little musical deviation part. It was missing, and that whole process took me 10 years to finish it. And I'm not saying I was working on it every day, but every 4 or 5 months, I'd pick up my acoustic guitar, opportunity to kind of play it, go, that's not right. It's almost like the song was telling me, no, you don't have it yet, no. And then one day, just 5 months ago or so, I was playing it and came to the awkward spot where I thought things need to change here. And I just stopped playing guitar and sang a melody, and it was like the song was going, yes, that's it, that belongs there. Do more of that, do more of that. And within an hour or two, I had the thing finished. And then the song went, okay, bud, I'm all done with you. You go that way, and I'll go this way.
Well, I'm such an impatient person that I would just get so frustrated and say, forget it. But I mean, you sort of kept it in the back of your mind, or it was still cooking. It was still cooking all that time.
Good point. And it was, and I adopted that attitude a long time ago recording. It's like there's always the other side of the mountain of the song when you're composing. If it's not a good tune and you don't believe in it, or people keep telling you, like, why are you writing this? It's like useless. But as a writer, if you believe in it, man, just keep hacking away at it. The part will come. It might, hopefully it won't take 10 years, right. But I was busy doing other things too. But.
Is there a song, though, that you wrote, a similar sort of question, is there a song that you've written that you thought, you know what, I actually hate this one, and then everybody loved it and thought it was great, and then you were like, okay, maybe I was wrong?
None of my songs I hate. They're all my children. Mm-hmm. Some of them were a challenge to me, and when it came to sort of the meetings of you have too much material on a record, you pick a tune and you go, okay, well, I'd take that one off just because of your own personal experiences. But there's not a song I don't love. I can tell you on the other end of the spectrum, though, the quickest song that I recorded was a song called Rock and Roll Duty. Mm-hmm. And that song kicks along quite nice, and I'm happy with that tune. But, man, the thing was written probably, I think the song might only be 4 minutes. I might have taken 10 minutes to write it. It was just sort of bang, it just happened.
All right, so tell me about the music writing process. I've never written a song before. Obviously you find inspiration just comes along, it just happens. Do you ever, though, like sit down and say, all right, I have to write something today? Like, that just seems like it would be too forced. So how does most of your songwriting happen?
You're right. Forced creativity is a drag. Forced creativity are guys and girls in the studio writing jingles and writing, I'm not sure what they're doing, but it certainly hasn't never been my process. My process is, and I'm not a cosmic guy, but I always think that these ideas are floating around in the universe way up there, and they pick different musicians and artists to sort of bring them to life, and that's kind of how I've always looked at it. Like, these ideas come to me in the most unusual places and times. It's not when I'm sitting down in the studio, I sit there and go, okay, here I go, I'm going to write. No. I'll be driving somewhere, going to pick up groceries, and all of a sudden a melody or a riff will be in my head. You sing it into your phone, or you do that. You get home and you start to develop it. So stuff sort of happens that way. Or it's a lyric. I work with lyricists a lot. They'll show me a few lines of something, and 10 of the lines, I'm like, yeah, whatever. Then I'll see 2 or 3 lines and go, whoa, this is cool. Like, let's try working on this.
Does it always come to you when you're wide awake, or are you one of those people that, you lay in bed and then all of a sudden it's like, I gotta go run to the guitar because I just woke up with a good idea?
You mean the Keith Richards story, but when he found the riff of satisfaction, right? I mean, that's what happened. You woke up out of sleep and hummed it into, or played it right there into a tape recorder. No, I'm usually kind of awake when it happens. I can't think of a time where I woke up in the middle of the night when I can't think of anything else that I wake up in the middle of the night for other than I have to go to the bathroom and I go back to sleep.
I'm surprised in your 30s that's happening to you, though, Kim.
Well, I said I was 39 for decades, Jeremy.
With this whole lockdown, quarantine, whatever we call it now, did you find that to be a creative time to sort of have no distraction and get a lot done? Or what did you do during the shutdown?
I think you're hitting on something here. I think there's 2 types of people. There's the motivated ones and the ones that aren't motivated. I'm the latter.
Okay.
I'll walk by my guitars and wave, and I'm not motivated to write. All my friends are like, oh, man, I bet you're writing another record. I'm like, no, I barely play the guitar right now. I garden, I cook, I have a dog, I walk. Just kind of living life, trying to be careful, putting a mask on when I go into places, and sanitizing, and just doing what I feel I should be doing, that's all. But as far as music and motivated, no. I'm actually trying to sand a table down these days, a table that I eat at, because it's got all kinds of marks and stuff. And that's taking me a job that would take you, an hour to do it. I think I'm on my 2nd week.
Well, I mean, this is coming from the guy who takes 10 years to finish a song, though, right? I mean, isn't it perfection takes time, Jeremy, they say?
No, man, it's not perfection. Why hurry?
That's all. Okay, all right.
No, to be honest with you, when an idea hits, I'm on it, though. I'm really on it. So if I do get an idea, please don't think that I sit back and go, yeah, okay, I'll work on it for 5 minutes and then I'm out of here. No, I'm the guy that'll be burning the midnight lamp and go 2 o'clock in the morning. Oh my God, I haven't eaten in like a day. So I'm that person. All
right. Okay, so let's go back to the album. What can people expect from it? Sum up the vibe of the new album.
Okay, sure, absolutely. I have 2 kinds of styles that I write. And some of it is Go for Soda, Rock and Roll Duty, I Am a Wild Party. It's sort of really rocky stuff where I run into a I yell a lot, and I kick stuff around, and I leave. And then I have sort of this other stuff I like to say is a musical equivalent of just more atmospheric stuff. It's the lighting is better. There's some dry ice going, and that's the stuff that I had given Greg Wells, my producer, and he was like, this is a side of you that people should hear more of. Let's do an album of this. So even though there's a couple of songs that kick along, there's another one on it called Too Up to Be Down that kind of kicks along. A lot of it is more atmospheric kind of stuff than my sort of shouty stuff.
And so the new track is Wishes, and then I guess the details are all on your website, right?
Yeah, they can go to kimmitchell.ca, which is in Canada, or they can find the song on wherever they find your songs, on Spotify or music streaming services, Apple Music and all that. So, yeah, have a listen. I've seen people like it so far. It's got a cool message, I think, and for a song that was written not around COVID at all, it was all done way before. That's got a kind of a cool lyric that I feel is somewhat relevant.
Are you ready to hit the stage again and give concerts and a tour? Like, are you one of those artists that's just itching, or are you just still thumbing around the house?
Yeah, I'm getting kind of bored around here. I Jones, that gives me life.
Mm-hmm.
Sweaty rock and roll room, the whole trip with the musicians, sitting around airports and traveling a little bit with dudes that I really love playing around, and I know the stage people you get to know that you've seen over your career. Yeah, it's a beautiful experience that I miss dearly.
And I had to look back because the last time that you were on the radio with us, August 2012 in Winnipeg. So we're long overdue for this update, aren't we?
Yeah. Well, thanks for the update. Thank you.
No, I appreciate it, and like I said,
that's great.
I knew that we'd spoken and met before, and I was like, okay, we've got to find out. And so we have the audio actually on our interview website now. But so speaking of websites, give that website address one more time, Kim.
Yeah, it's kimmitchell.ca.
All right, and we'll be sure to check it out. And again, the new single is called Wishes. The great Kim Mitchell, thank you so much for joining us. It was great chatting with you.
Thank you, Jeremy. Thanks a lot, man.
Ever had something to get off your chest but never had the balls to say it? That's a load of crap. Speak Free with JB.com is exactly what you've been waiting for. Your chance to tell it like it is and not care what anybody else thinks. Have your say on issues of the day. Join newspaper and radio columnist Jeremy Bradley as he tells it like it is. Hundreds of thousands of people have stopped by, including some well-known celebrities who have had a chat with JB and speak candidly about what's really going on in the world. You can join them too. Have a rant or a rave. Be brave and head on over to www.speakfreewithjb.com now.
It's never too early to start thinking about your next holiday. Have you checked out Mexico recently? From tequila tasting, swimming with horses, to ziplining through the jungle and watching whales and dolphins in their natural habitat, Puerto Vallarta has it all. Visit mexico.jbonair.com to see all the fun PV has to offer. That's at mexico.jbonair.com for hundreds of photos, interviews, and videos from around the tourist hotspot. Check out mexico.jbonair.com for all the fun. That's mexico.jbonair.com.
Jeremy Bradley here on the Scribble. I have about 2.5 minutes to tell you this story. Do you know, like, mosquitoes where I grew up and where I live right now in Canada are bad generally when there's a wet, soggy spring and then lots of rain and standing water in the summer, right? They breed that way, and there's tons of them. And there have been some years where the mosquitoes have just been ridiculous, where you don't even want to be outside. This is not, well, I guess it's becoming one of those years, even though we haven't had much rain and things like that. So if you're sitting in the backyard, you feel them on your arm, you swat them, you notice them because you're not really moving, you're kind of just sitting there and you're feeling everything. When I go out and walk the dogs in the evening, yeah, you might feel them on your arm or the back of your neck, and then that's it. And then you're paranoid because you just feel them all the time. I don't notice the mosquito bites that I get on my ankles or my feet when we're walking because, again, I'm just, we're either talking or I'm listening to music or, you're moving so you don't notice it. Then when I get home and I'm laying in bed or on the couch, not sleeping, your ankles rub together or your leg rubs against your ankle, and that sort of, I'll say it activates the mosquito bite. Like, I wouldn't have noticed it at all then. But until something touches it, that's when you have that irritant. And there is something so gratifying about scratching a mosquito bite. Now, I know that you're not supposed to. I know. But it feels so good. Like, it's just, I'm just going to scratch the hell out of this thing and just give her. And so right now, I just realized that I'm actually scratching my ankle right now as I'm telling the story. Subconsciously, I guess. I'm just trained to do it. But one of my friends told me, and I tried this one summer, he said if you put mouthwash on your mosquito bites, it stops the itching. Tell me if you've heard about this. And I said to him at the time, I should talk like my dad. So I says to him at the time, no way is that going to stop the itching. No way is mouthwash on a mosquito bite on my ankle going to stop. Now, I don't know if there's like healing power in mouthwash, or if it's just your brain playing the trick and saying, okay, it's going to work, or it's not going to work, and then it does. But for some reason, putting mouthwash on a mosquito bite stopped the itching. And right now in this room where I'm doing the show, I don't have mouthwash, so hopefully somebody can bring me some. But tell me if you've got any other weird remedies or things for when it comes to mosquito bites. Tell me, live at JB... Not tell me, I won't hear you, but email me, live@jbonair.com, live@jbonair.com.
We hear you chirping. Get scribbling. Tweet up the Scribble at The Scribble Show. Join the discussion with Jeremy Bradley. It's all going down right now on Twitter at The Scribble Show and at thescribbleshow.com.
Jeremy Bradley here, back on The Scribble. My thanks to Kim Mitchell for joining us. Great checking in with the legendary. See, this is where I always hesitate when I introduce people who have been in the music business for so long, or in entertainment or show business. When you call them legendary, is that saying that they're old? Is that saying that, like, to me, I almost feel that would be not an honor, but it's recognizing that, hey, I've been around a long time and I've accomplished a damn lot in my time. Don't you think? Is that... Now, I'm not saying, just first of all, to clarify, I'm not saying this because, you're calling people old. Nobody has ever said that to me, but just when I think about it now, when I hear about, the legend, to me, I think that that's a badge of honor. Don't you? Somebody's legendary? I mean, what I don't want to call them, veteran artist, right? Iconic? I mean, that makes it sound even older. But tell me, what do you think about that? Oh my God, after all these years of interviewing celebrities and calling them legendary, and I know exactly what's going to happen, by the way, is after doing this show, one of the people on the team here is going to go back and listen to, like, every celebrity interview that we've ever had on the radio shows, which is a couple hundred, I should point out, a few hundred celebrity interviews, and they're going to give me a tally. I know it. They're gonna do that and say, you've introduced Dolly Parton, da-da-da-da, as legendary, and yeah. And I already know that I've done it for a few of them. That's the thing. I'm wondering now if it's an ageism thing, or like, okay, if you're above this age. No, I would say that if you've been in your industry, music, acting, theater, whatever it is, like if you've been in your industry for 3 decades, why not call you legendary? I mean, that, right? See, this is the problem here, is that in saying that, I'm already implying an age anyway, right? Unless you got into acting when you were 2 years old. If you go and say you've had 3 decades, well, we're going to do the math on that you're at least 32 years old, 33 years old, right? I mean, a lot of these recording artists only got into music in their teens or, 20s maybe. So if you tell me that you've been in the music business for 3 decades, well, we're going to do the math and say that you're over 50, right? Oh, now I'm just getting wound up for absolute... Again, nobody has told me it's offensive the way I introduce the celebrities on the show, but it's making me wonder. Didn't I just say this at the beginning of the show, is that the quarantine brain makes you overthink things and it makes you go crazy? There you go. Living proof right here, everybody. But it can lead to success. That's not true. I didn't become successful in quarantine. I think I've just sort of pissed away that... Oh, I'm done. And I can't even say TGIF, right? Because does it even feel like the weekend anymore? Like, who cares when the weekend is here? Yeah, there we go. All right, so send me an email. If you're still tuned in, I applaud you. Thank you so much for wasting 30 minutes with me this week. Send me an email, live@jbonair.com, live@jbonair.com. Again, I look at it and go, the summer we're halfway through, well, we're coming up to August now, and... I haven't traveled. I'm getting itchy. That's just the mosquito bites, but I'm also I feel like traveling, I feel like doing something. It's a little bit weird. So I will be back next week. Remember to go to speakfreecelebwatch.com. You can have a listen to the latest celebrity guests that I've insulted. Speakfreecelebwatch.com. And as I did mention to Kim, our previous Kim Mitchell interview is online there. You can go to the bottom and type in his name and do a search for him. All right, this is The Scribble. Again, thank you so much for tuning in. I hate doing the whole please subscribe to the podcast because I don't know, it just seems so desperate. But yeah, subscribe. I'd like to chat with you again, everybody. All right, I'll talk to you next week. Bye-bye for now.
Want more Scribble? Check out thescribbleshow.com for past shows, celebrity interviews, cheapskate tips, and more. That's at thescribbleshow.com and on Twitter at The Scribble Show. The Scribble is a Speak Free media presentation.